let's talk about the announcements.
Yes.
But before we do that, I do want to kind of talk about high level thoughts. Cayman, what did you think of the show? So now we know all the winners. We know a lot of how this was presented as like side information. A lot of the time, the Game Awards is just a giant commercial for the future of video games, which I love.
Sure.
But what did you think of like the night as a whole, the awards, the announcements, that kind of thing?
I would say the night as a whole, if you just look at like the overall from start to finish as one entire product, I would say honestly, the more I sit and think on it, it's a solid C plus.
Okay.
I don't think in terms of the show that it was very saggy, and that was my
Sure.
problem. I was bored a good portion of the time, and I live tweeted the entire damn thing, and you can see by the end, I'm just typing out gibberish because I was
Yeah.
so out of it. It's so long, but I understand why. It's because it is a giant commercial to pay for, right? So I get that.
Yeah.
But overall, I would say the entirety of the show, I would say like a C plus. I would say the actual announcements, a B, an easy B, maybe a B plus, but I don't think there was a couple really cool announcements.
Yeah.
And then I think the rest were either lukewarm to me or stuff I'd be like, oh, okay, that looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nothing. There was only one moment that I was like, or two moments that I was like, hype.
Yeah.
Hype is here.
Yeah.
And we literally are going to talk about them right off the bat.
Right. So it's interesting because I didn't watch live. I had the fortune of going and being able to fast forward through things. So for me, like I walk away from this as like this is like a solid A minus. But I think that's because I got to fast forward through shit.
Yes, I did not have the luxury to fast forward through
And
anything.
right. And so I would be willing to bet if I were watching it live, I wouldn't be as high on it as I was. But being able to quickly go through some of these things that weren't as interesting to me, for me, ended up just being like a highlight reel. So it's a little unfair for me to give it a true score. But John asks a question, which I also want to discuss before we really jump into all the announcements. Where was Hollow Knight Silksong? Last time we saw Hollow Knight Silksong was at an Xbox showcase. Where the fuck was Xbox?
That's a real good question. They had several commercials about Game Pass and just Game Pass.
Yeah.
There were almost as many commercials for Callisto Protocol, which there were a fuck ton of, as there were for just Game Pass. However, the difference was there were no game announcements at all.
Yeah. And like to clarify, because we said like offhand, like, oh, the Game Awards is like one giant commercial because there's so many things are announced. It's live streamed on Twitch, and they take their own commercial break. So like, okay, we're gonna be right back, and then they have like pre-cut advertisements essentially that instead of it being fucking bullshit political ads, it's like one of 4 commercials that they showed all night, which one of the main ones was Game Pass. So like very different than the rest of the evening. Like it very much felt like, oh, hey, here's games that you can get on Game Pass now. Like there was nothing
Like
new about it. And I didn't notice this until you texted me. You were like, have you seen this op-ed at IGN, which was scathing. But I'm floored that Xbox was not there at all. Like they didn't talk about a single thing. Which like makes me wonder, do you think they're going to have like a showcase soon? Do you think like they just don't have shit to talk about? Do you think that they were trying to be quiet for the FTC because all that shit that's going on? Like, what do you think?
I think that there's a lot to it. I think that on one hand, I think Xbox is, well, I think to your point, right? I do think that they're trying to be very quiet about the FTC investigation. And if they come out with all sorts of like, here's an announcement, here's another game, at like the video game's biggest night of the year, then I think that looks poorly on them because they're trying to play themselves as this like sad little puppy who's like, we're just trying real hard to compete.
Yeah.
Like you are almost double the size in terms of net value that Sony is. You're not some sad little puppy.
Sure.
But this makes them seem like, well, look, Sony announced, 5 different games. So like, what about us? Like, we're not doing that. But then here's the thing to that is like, Who fucking cares? I can just fast or rewind 6 months to the Xbox showcase where that's all you guys did would talk about how you have a billion games coming out.
And all of these are coming out in the next 12 months.
Exactly. So I don't put as much credence in that.
Yeah.
The other part of me is like, well, maybe they just don't want to announce a bunch of shit because they want to do their own big thing and it's just solely focused on them. But then I'm also like, then why didn't you just announce one game or talk about the only game they talked about was Diablo, but they didn't even mention Xbox during it.
Yeah.
Like they weren't even included. And I don't want to get off topic. I really do think that having this conversation about the FTC investigation needs to be talked about in a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
But like that to me was really big that like they didn't even put their name. That it was
that's
like,
a good
this
point.
is
I didn't
coming to
think about
Game
that.
Pass day one. Like they didn't even fucking say that. So I do think that there is a part of it is like they're just trying to lay low on that one. They're doing a horrible, well, they're not doing a horrible, they are doing a bad job. Activision Blizzard is doing a horrendous job getting this to go through.
Yeah.
They are the ones that if this deal doesn't work, this is going to be on them. But that's a conversation for later.
Yeah. So
Ultimately, though, yeah. Sorry, Patrick.
I was going to say we've kind of beat around the bush a little bit. Something that we haven't talked about on this show yet is that the FTC is now sued Activision Blizzard / Microsoft about this acquisition, saying that it infringes on the fucking Monopoly Act or whatever the fuck. So they're trying to block it. They're saying like, hey, this is not good for consumers. So that happened like a week ago. Pretty huge news. It just we haven't talked about it on the show yet for obvious reasons. And so that's what all that FTC stuff that we kind of slightly mentioned in that. But yeah, I don't know. It's really weird that we didn't see them.
It's a bad look. And Phil Spencer was there too.
Yeah, and we saw him a ton. Like they would turn to him a lot. Like in the, like at the Oscars, they show fucking Brad Pitt.
You know what was interesting? You know who wasn't there? Anyone from Sony. Well, I mean, there's probably Sony people there, but like there was no
Jim Ryan, no Shuhei, no.
No one that you would be, because they were like, oh, and here comes Doug Bowser from Nintendo, and over here is Phil Spencer from Xbox, and here's Reggie, who used to be with Nintendo. That's it, goodbye. I mean, there was also a lot of more people there, but like when they announced Sony not being there was like, that's weird. But then Sony turned around later in the show and was like, oh, hey guys, we have exclusive rights to Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this game's gonna fuck. And this game's gonna fuck real good.
Well, let's go into announcements. So let's talk about that one first. So Final Fantasy 16 got a trailer, and so you're in on 16, Cayman?
Dude, this game looks fucking unreal. Like I'm already like, I love Final Fantasy. Like I really enjoy the series. This game though, like I'm more curious now. Like not that is it going to be any good, because that's not a concern for me. My question is this going to be M-rated?
Oh,
dude, because this shit looks dark as fuck.
I think it definitely is going to be M-rated.
Dude, just every time they would like cut to like a new thing, I was just like, what is happening and why am? And it's coming in June.
And it's coming in June. Yeah, we got that release date. And I feel like so often these days games get delayed. I don't know that this one's going to get delayed. I think I might make a bet that this one is definitely going to hit in June, because honestly, June kind of feels a little late to me. Is I think the reason why I say that. But yeah, that was a big one. We also got we're kind of going backwards here, but we're starting at the end. For this one, Armored Core fucking 6 got announced. If you don't know Armored Core is the first series that From Software, who did Game of the Award winning game Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, all those, back in the PS2 era. It's like a giant, it's like Gundam. It's like a mech fighting game, essentially. And there have been a lot of rumors, Cayman, a lot of rumors about old Armored Core, and it happened. How excited are you about Armored Core 6? So Fires of Rubicon.
Fun fact, first game I ever played on the PlayStation 2 was Armored Core, because it came bundled with my PlayStation. And my parents didn't give me any other games because they got me a PlayStation for Christmas, and that was literally the only Christmas present I got that year.
Sure.
I grew up very poor, so like that was fine with me. It was super exciting. So I played Armored Core like so much. The game
Yeah.
is very difficult.
So hard. It's one of the few PS2 games that I played a lot as a kid because my neighbor had it, and we always thought it was really cool, but we couldn't fucking play it because it
No,
was so
yeah,
hard.
it's so hard. But like, just the so, and this is I think going to be really cool because Armored Core is not a franchise like Dark Souls or Demon Souls or whatever. And or even like Sekiro, right? Like it is so different than anything you've ever like played before. It's so weird. I'm very excited to see how like the Souls fans like how they interact with it because truth be told, like this is not a game for Souls people.
Not at all.
This
It's
is
so different.
it's very difficult. It has a difficulty level
Mhm.
to it, but this
And
is so different.
so different. And like I'm really excited to see. I don't know offhand when the last one came out, but like they have released at the very least, like maybe they
13 years,
released
I think.
one. Okay, so then likely they've not made one since Demon Souls.
I
They've
think so, yeah,
made
actually.
so many games that are held in such high regard since then. A lot of, I mean, nines, tens, game of the years, like multiple game of the year award winners. What things have they learned that they can use to improve Armored Core? That's what gets me the most excited.
So they've already said this will not be open world. This will
Okay.
be the original missions only. It's going back, so it's not even a reboot. Like it still takes place. So they're essentially just being like, "Fuck you guys." If you don't know anything about Armored Core, this is probably not the place to start. But fuck it, go
I'd love
for it.
that they also just it's
Yeah,
6. Like they did it's not like a
yeah.
reboot. It's just this is
No,
another Armored Core.
they're just like, "This is Armored Core 6." And if you've never played one before, guess what? You're going to start at 6 because I don't even know if it's physically possible to play these games unless you own an
Probably
old
not.
console. I'm hyped on it, man. I love it. I love the what I loved about it and what really kind of made me the person who I am today is the fact that you can like upgrade your mech in like all
Mm,
sorts of different ways and customize your mech to be whatever
so
you
much
like.
customization.
Yeah, they're like so now I just want every game to have that same level of customization and
Oh yeah.
not every game does that, so that pisses me off. So, like, but this is why it's because of Armored Core. So, like, I'm very excited about it, and it's coming in 2023. So,
I know. Tony makes a great point. Who doesn't love mechs? That like
true.
this game, we have not gotten a lot of this style game in a long time,
Oh
and I
no,
think that
not at
it's
all.
gonna like this is the kind of game that doesn't normally speak to me, and I mean I'm gonna wait and see, but just like on novelty alone, like we haven't had this game in so long, like I'm super excited to see what
Just
this turns
the one
into.
thing I will say,
Say it.
just expect the UI is going to be absolute batshit crazy.
Absolute batshit crazy.
The UI is going to wreck your brain in ways that you don't like.
And the menus are going to be so absurd. Like the menus in Elden Ring are already so hard to understand. Adding in a bunch of mechs to that, oh boy, it's going to be a mess.
It's like what it's known for is like just dog shit UI that makes you
Yeah.
hurt
Oh
inside
boy.
because like nothing makes sense.
Came in. We also got. I think this is I think the
Dude,
announcement that I'm the most excited about.
I lost my shit when this came out because I immediately was like, Patrick is not seeing this happen live in real time, and like I feel for
Oh
you.
man, I really wish I had. But even just like getting the text, I remember where I was when you texted me. We were sitting down for dinner, and I just like I'm like, oh my god, Hades 2. So exciting. Like I kind of can't believe that they're doing it and that we're already going to be getting it next. Or did it say 23 or 24?
I don't think we got a release date
We
for
didn't
it.
get a date. Okay, because they did say that it's going to be doing early access first. Oh, come on with these
Yeah.
fucking YouTube cards. I can't see bullshit. I can't see shit. Um, yeah, if someone in the chat, if you could double check that for us. But like the first Hades when it came out in early access on PC for like several months before it came to consoles. So that's like a little bit of a bummer because I think they have said it's going to follow that same path where it's going to come early access on PC first. But hey, maybe by then we'll have PCs and we'll get to play
Oh
it
shit.
in early
Oh
access.
man, dude, I didn't even realize this. Apparently, Hades 2 came out September 20th of 1999.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's what it says on the old Google.
How about that? It's been out for over 20 years and are just now talking about it.
I really now want to know what the fuck this is.
What that Hades 2 is.
Yeah, what is this? Someone in
That's
the
great.
chat help me out here.
That's funny. But yeah, Hades 2 could not be more excited for that. And like, here's the thing, Cayman.
Yes, sir.
You gave the Game Awards a C minus or C
Yeah.
plus, you said.
Yeah.
The fact that
Mhm.
the Game Awards could announce things like Armored Core and Hades
Mhm.
at all,
Mhm.
I think is so awesome that the Game Awards, because at the very least, I think we can agree that the Game Awards have gotten better every year. They've trimmed fat. They've like the announcements seem to get bigger every year for the most part. Would you agree with that or not?
Yeah, yeah, I would. I would.
Maybe
But
not heartily.
here's the thing is I think maybe if this was a couple years ago, I'd be like, yes, I agree that this is it. But we no longer have E3 anymore.
Sure.
We'll get the oft PlayStation Direct. We'll get the fucking Xbox Showcase. We'll get a Nintendo Direct. Like we'll get those every once in a while, and sometimes they drop really big announcements in those. But like this has now become like the E3 where we do get huge game announcements. Like this is where
Sure.
they happen now. And don't get me wrong, like there's some big ones here. Well, there's three I think in particular that are really big. The rest I think are like there's like one cool announcement, but it's from a new studio with a lot of talent from big studios, right? And then the rest were kind of like, okay, cool. Like we saw
What's the third big one you're saying?
Death Stranding 2.
Okay, interesting. I was thinking that the third one was Judas, but then they said the new studio. I'm assuming that's
Yeah.
the fourth one you're
Yeah.
thinking
So
of.
those
Okay.
would be like the four for me that I'd be like, here are the four big announcements. Sure, I could say something like, oh, hey, you know, the Star Wars Jedi Survivor gameplay, like cool, but like also doesn't need to be at the Game Awards. Like you could just do that. We already knew the game was coming out. We've already seen a trailer for it. So seeing gameplay is cool, but like not necessary for here. Here I'm expecting, and this is, I think, also another issue is these are my expectations.
Sure.
So to your point though, yeah, so Ken motherfucking Levine
Oh yeah.
from I mean, he's well, we consider him the creator of BioShock.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. So the creator of BioShock announced a new game called Judas. This game looks fucking cool.
Looks
And
so fucking cool.
yeah,
This trailer gives me big BioShock Infinite trailer vibes where like I watched that trailer and was like blown away by how cool the game looked.
yeah. I got
And go ahead.
I got a lot of like I got the hybrid vibe of like it feels like BioShock Infinite, but it also feels like Deathloop like slammed
Yeah.
together. So which is
Yeah.
cool, man. Like I'm like really excited about this game. And I guess the thing is like this is super fucking cool. And this is I would say a big reveal. I would think I would have just been more like, oh my god, if they were like BioShock 4. I would
Sure.
have lost my goddamn marbles. But I like
Yeah.
it.
I definitely I think this is one of the biggest Game Awards announcements that we've had only because in a way I mean this is BioShock 4 because this is Ken Levine. Like and it
Yeah.
very much looked like BioShock. It's not like technically literally BioShock 4, but the man doesn't have the control of BioShock anymore, so this is like his new game and it going like looking at like with the hand and like the power stuff, like it very much looks like BioShock in space, like John just said in the chat. So this is, I think, my other most exciting announcement from the show, on top of Hades. So yeah, really, really cool shit. We also got Death Stranding 2 trailer, which is now I'm actually I'm not totally sure. Is this game being called DS2 or is this just like shorthand? Because like at the end of the trailer, it says DS2.
I don't know.
And he
Yeah,
kept referring to it as DS2.
so industry person Janet Garcia, she tweeted out, she was like, "Do I need to play Death Stranding 1 to understand Death Stranding 2 or does anyone actually understand anything about Death Stranding?"
No, no one
Because
does.
here's the thing. I didn't play the first one. I don't know if I will. I probably won't play this one either, mainly because I have no fucking idea what it is outside of walking around. And
I
I can't even walk right now, and
Yep. I
Sucks.
played the game
Yeah.
and I could barely tell you what that game was about.
Did you beat it?
I did beat it.
And you
Something about like the United States, like post-apocalyptic, and like all the roads were broken and like didn't work anymore. So like you had to like build roads and like deliver packages for people. And there was this baby, and the rain would like make time reverse or something, or like it go faster. I don't know. I really don't know what the game was about. Mads Mikkelsen was in it. Couldn't tell
Troy
you a fucking
Baker.
thing about who
So
he was and what he did. Troy Baker was the bad guy. Again, couldn't really tell you much other than he was the bad guy.
you know
Like
what
the
I love?
game, go ahead.
You know what I love is that there's a point in the Game Awards where they're like, Jeff Keighley's like, "Hey Kojima, can you like give us some? What do you know some insight about the trailer? Any side about the trailer?" He's like, he's got obviously he has an interpreter, but basically it's just like, yes, please go look and watch the trailer because I've hidden a lot of secrets in there. And they're like, "Oh, great, fantastic," because this game is like 50 hours long for the first one, and no one knows what the fuck it's about. So, what
Yep.
is the secrets in here going to be?
He's a
How can you?
madman.
He's insane.
He's insane. I also love that he, like, a cool thing. When he was talking about DS2, apparently he rewrote the entire game during the pandemic, because I don't know if it's like influenced because of COVID or what, but he was like, I decided that I needed to tell a different story in the sequel, so I rewrote the entire thing. Just like this man, I love how at the same time he is incredibly transparent and so cryptic all the time.
You know what
And
I love?
I'm in.
You know what I love is that he's like, I rewrote the entire thing during the pandemic. You're like, oh my god, that's such like a huge thing. And he's like, yes, all 1.5 pages of it.
Well, though, see, that's the thing. The script is probably 97,000 pages, and it still makes no sense.
Yeah.
He could have every potential, like every possible page in written history to explain what this game is about, and we still won't know.
Fair.
But Death Stranding 2. I'm fucking excited for it. It's Kojima. I'm always in on Kojima. We also got a little. I'm interested to see if this did anything for you. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty DLC starring one Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Are you going back to Night City, Cayman?
Here's my question: do we get to see his dick?
I think if we did, the world would end.
Well, then I guess I'm not going back. Yeah, actually, I say that. I honestly probably will. I really enjoyed Cyberpunk. And I played it and it's like still somewhat broken mess of a shit show it was. Yeah. And I still enjoyed it. So like I do want to go back and play it now with like the next gen patch. I think Idris Elba being in there is really cool. So like that's fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
like, I mean, sure.
This might bring me back. Probably not though.
But what if we get to see his dick?
I mean, if we see his dick, I'm definitely platinuming in the game for sure, like without a doubt. Maybe that's how you see it, is by platinuming the game with the new DLC.
They email it. PlayStation emails you.
Congrats on beating Cyberpunk.
Here's a picture of Idris Elba's dick.
Could be. Cayman, you talked about it a little bit earlier. You didn't seem very impressed, apparently. Fucking only Jedi Survivor gameplay reveal is at the Game Awards. Fucking looks awesome, Cayman. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it does. No, it does look awesome. I mean, I guess I don't know, man. Like, it looks great.
You hate Star Wars. You hate gingers. What is it?
Well, okay, gingers, yes. Star Wars,
most.
I mean, let's be honest. There hasn't been a good Star Wars movie since Rogue One was good. There's only been 4 good Star Wars.
Andor.
Movies.
Have you watched Andor, Cayman?
Dude, I'm so burned out in Star Wars and Marvel shit. Like, I can't.
Andor's so good though.
Yeah, I've heard. No, like I'm really excited. We both know, like we both really love this. The first game. This is really cool. It just for me, it's like, yeah, cool. Like it's coming out sometime soon. I think March maybe.
Yeah, we did get a date. Didn't we? I think it's
right there. It looks like a
March 17th.
Yeah,
just after the Ides of March came in. How does that make you feel?
I don't know anything about the Ides of anything.
It's just the middle of March. Diablo 4, which you mentioned earlier, coming June 2023.
Yeah, this is gonna
I
be
know
a
you're
tough.
excited for that.
This is gonna be a tough one, man, because I'm gonna get Diablo and I'm gonna get fucking Final Fantasy 16 like in the same month. Unfair. I
One of
really
them,
hope. I
one of
really
them will
hope
slip.
one. I hope so
Yeah.
because I don't have the time, energy, patience, or money to
Doesn't
do this.
doesn't Diablo like famously always get delayed a bunch? Or am I thinking of a different game?
Yes. No, I mean it does. It's weird. Diablo like gets delayed a lot, but it also fucks up its launch
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot.
Man, I remember 2 and 3 having an awful launch.
Yeah, Diablo
Um,
3 in particular has like one of the most notoriously hated launches of
yeah,
like any
yeah,
game.
yeah. Yeah, I remember I was working with a guy back in the old days of the factory. There was a guy who worked
Mm.
there before you worked there for a little bit. And he would come in. I didn't have a PC, I still don't. And he would just like basically be breaking shit because he was so mad he couldn't play Diablo. I was like, dude, chill. Anyway, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League got a short trailer, came in. And this one was sad for me. This one was very
Yeah,
sad
no,
for
this
me.
was a huge. This was
They essentially revealed that this is going to be Kevin Conroy's last performance as Batman.
getting goosebumps just hearing you say it.
And like, oh yeah, man, it might be tough to play that game in a way,
Yeah.
especially knowing like the context of the game, that like all the Justice League is like being taken over by whoever the fuck. So like, we're gonna be trying to kill Batman.
You know what I love? You know what I love though is that Rocksteady has built this world in which Batman is fucking invincible, right?
Sure, sure.
So like how do you then juxtapose this situation in which Batman like just a fucking B gallery of rogues has to take on Batman and actually defeat Batman. Like it has
Right.
to have they have to have built some narrative point in there that like they don't actually get to beat him up. Like
Hopefully,
something happens that like because he can't like how do you do it doesn't matter. Either way, you are correct. That is
it was sad
it was
watching that
really
trailer.
sad. It's I'm excited to that he does get one last performance though,
Yeah,
but it ultimately it is just it's a bummer, man. Like Kevin Conroy is great. He's a huge or was a huge nerd for video games and like just
yeah,
apparently like just a genuinely awesome person. And
yeah.
also just losing anyone sucks, but like it's good he gets one last swan song. I will say
For
that.
sure, for sure. We're also going to be getting some DLC for Horizon next year. I think this is
Yeah.
coming April 19th. We're going to Los Angeles for Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC. And I'm excited for this. It's funny. Horizon is a game we've talked about a few times since we both got the platinum that
Mhm.
like we just kind of like don't care anymore about it.
Yeah.
Like it just didn't stick with us. But
Yeah.
seeing this trailer, I'm like really excited to go back to it. So and it being set in LA could be cool. Yeah, I just hope that it doesn't kind of overstay its welcome. Um, but
I agree.
after or not after that, we also got it's I don't know that it's a sequel to Celeste, but it is from the creators of Celeste, and it is called Earth. I lost my place. Uh,
Earthblade.
Earthblade, coming
Mhm.
in 2024, and it looks really cool. Did this trailer pop for you at all?
I'm not a big side-scrolling
Okay.
platformer person.
Yep.
So this doesn't do much for me, but I know that Celeste is both celebrated for its gameplay and its story, and I think that's great. And I'm very excited that people who love this game get more of this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm unsure if it is like a direct sequel. But it looks similar. Like it has that side scrolly platformy look. And yeah, I loved Celeste. It was one of my favorite games of that year, 2018, I believe. But so yeah, I'm excited about that. We also got John popping off in the chat, also excited because yeah, Celeste was awesome. I think we opened the show with this, or it was one of the first ones if it wasn't the opener. Hellboy World of Weird, I think is how you would pronounce WYRD. But
I'm
it looks
sorry.
pretty cool.
I'm sorry. What the fuck did you just say, Patrick?
World of Weird. I don't know. What is
No,
it? Wired?
Oh, I thought you were saying you couldn't say Hellboy correctly. I was like, what are
Oh.
you talking about?
No, no, no.
Um,
The subtitle is World of WYRD, which I assume is weird.
it's a play
Uh,
on word. But yeah, it is.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But no, dude, I
Um,
like this
this
actually
looks
is one.
awesome.
Yeah, so this is one where I was torn because I'm like, I am so fucking hyped to play this game. This looks fucking incredible, but I also see this as being like a very budget title and probably
Mm,
not going to actually be very good. But goddamn,
maybe.
if it doesn't look awesome.
Yeah, and we have Lance Reddick voicing Hellboy, which love him.
Yeah,
Great actor.
dude.
So yeah, I'm excited about that one. Or Web of Weird, not World of Weird, Web of Weird. But yeah, no date, so who knows when that one's gonna come out. We also one of the weirdest moments of the night. Michael Madsen comes on stage.
Okay. In my defense, this game actually looks cool as shit.
Does it though?
It does, dude. This is, but then again, you got to remember, I also
Sure, you
love
like shitty games.
trash. Yeah.
So it stars Michael Madsen, Danny Glover, Kim Basinger, Danny Trejo, Michael Rooker, Chuck Norris, and Vanilla Ice.
How
With
could we go wrong?
maybe the worst video game title I've ever heard, Crime Boss Rockay City.
Okay, yeah. The title sounds terrible and
Awful title.
yeah.
But what a weird, and also there's a person named Damien Poitier, which I assume is like the son or something of Sidney Poitier. It's a very specific last name.
It is a
Maybe
very
not.
specific last name.
But really, really weird. Like, cause like here's the thing. I should have known that you would be all about this game. It looks like a PS2 game. Like
I know, man.
the graphics of this game, like why does Michael Madsen look like Michael Madsen from 2004 on a video game instead of 2022? But yeah, I'm interested to see more of it.
Suck.
It's gonna suck.
Also, this game looks cool as shit.
I do
this
love
looks-
the vibe of it. Like
this is I take umbrage with you saying this looks like a PS2 game. This looks like a PS3 game, Patrick. Get the generation right.
Sure. No, yeah, that's on me. You're right. You're right.
You know what they should
had-
bring back? Speaking of PS3 and Xbox 360, Army of Two.
Oh yeah,
Dude, I love those games.
Michael Madsen and Danny Glover as Army of Two.
I would play the fuck. I love Michael Madsen though, so.
But you hate Danny Glover? Is that what you're saying? Also, Danny Glover's character name is Gloves in this game, which I thought was really funny. Okay, just a few more that we want to talk about. Transformers Reactive was announced, and so you texted me. You were like, "They just announced a Transformers game," and I remembered you telling me that. And I'm watching this trailer, and then the title comes up that it's a Transformers game. I'm like, "What the fuck? How is this a Transformers game?"
No fucking idea.
No fucking idea. I'm interested to see more of it, but I think it's going to be like an online kind of game, which we know I don't fuck with that as much. But we also got a cool looking third person action game called Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden. Did this trailer do anything for you, Cayman?
Honestly, I don't really even remember this.
So most of it was like these two people like chatting, but then at the end of it,
this is from Don't Nod, right?
Yeah, Don't Nod and Focus Entertainment.
Yeah,
and then we got this like I don't really know what's going on here. We only see like 15 seconds of gameplay, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, no, look, Don't Nod making an action RPG because that was like a heavy emphasis on action and RPG.
Yeah,
and Don't Nod notoriously being almost like a walking sim.
Yeah. Because they did well, let's see, what else did they do? They did why is it not showing on their Wikipedia? They did Vampire, The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, and Life is Strange 2. That's right. So yeah, they've not really done like a ton of games in this style, but so it looks cool, but it says into 2023. That game's not coming in 2023. That game is coming late 2024, probably. And then, as you mentioned earlier, Vampire Survivors out now on mobile. We also got Dead Cells is returning to Castlevania with some new DLC next year, which like it was a cool trailer, but I don't give a shit.
Just give us a new fucking Castlevania game, guys.
Yeah. We got a sequel to the 2014 indie darling Valiant Hearts trailer, which I'm so torn on, Cayman, because I loved Valiant Hearts. I think you did too. 2014, like it was in this weird year where Ubisoft did these like really artsy games and then like never did it again. And the reason I'm torn is because this is a mobile exclusive. being published by Netflix. I'm still going to play it. I just don't want to play this game on my phone.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But, and then finally, Cayman, we're going to close out with how the Game Awards closed out, which was really fucking weird, where this weirdo kid comes on stage during the Elden Ring Game of the Year acceptance speech and is like awkwardly shuffling around behind them. And then they finish their speeches and he comes up and grabs the mic and is really awkward and has this weird accent happening and thanks everybody that's there, and then decides or dedicates his Game of the Year win for Elden Ring. This 15-year-old child who did not work on this game. He snuck on stage. He dedicated his award to his Orthodox rabbi, Bill Clinton.
Okay. In the moment, because I'm watching this live, I'm in Discord. I'm messaging over good old Liz McLean, right? I was like, who the fuck is this kid? She's like, I have no fucking idea.
It was so weird.
And then like he starts saying, and like they didn't cut his mic off. And by the time we got to Bill Clinton, they just were like, everything was fading to black on the screen. They were like, oh,
yeah.
fuck.
They realized they fucked up.
So here's a couple of things. Apparently Jason Schreier spoke with him.
Yeah.
There's some stuff here. So one, he has been seen on InfoWars. He apparently does, like, he is a child activist who was doing some sort of activist shit for Hong Kong, and then ends up on InfoWars as like a young conservative, faces of the young conservative party or some shit like that. He is very Jewish, and Jason Schreier makes a good point to like comment on the fact that like he asked him multiple questions in Hebrew, and he was able to respond back to him in Hebrew as well. It was like, he is not, because a lot of people were like, oh, this is some anti-Semitic shit, because that's just how the world is right now. So people were like, that's obviously what he's saying is all these things. And the kid was talking to Jason Schreier and was like, no, I am Jewish. And like Jason Schreier was like, I can confirm this. And then he was like, apparently the reason that he stated that he said Bill Clinton was because Bill Clinton is his hero. So there's a lot of things to unpack here, but yeah, I'm more interested to know what they're doing security wise for next year more than I care about like this kid.
Yeah,
like this
I saw
kid, man.
Someone was tweeting at Warrior64, who shares a lot of news and stuff on Twitter, and they were like, "Hey, I was talking to this guy, like he was messaging me like minutes before he went on stage, and like here's the receipts, and like looking at them like they were legit." And this kid, he did it just because he was like, I'm gonna see if I can do it, and he did it, and it worked, and fucking insane.
I legitimately thought, and it's so great because there's now no pictures. There's no pictures of Miyazaki winning the award for Game of the Year without this kid's face behind him.
That's so.
And honestly, I have to say kudos to this kid because I really think he did that out of spite. Which, if all I did was platinum a game out of spite, like in this kid did that out of spite.
I'm just really relieved he didn't fucking kill somebody, because
that is very true.
I'm really glad that I knew what the outcome was when I was watching it, because even knowing that nothing bad happened other than him talking about fucking Bill Clinton, I really was like, this kid's gonna pull out a gun any second. Like he was given real big vibes of that. So I'm really glad that didn't happen.
No, you're right. And it's we cracked, or me specifically, making jokes about it in the moment when that was happening. There is like a point because he's wearing like a bulky trench coat. And there's a point when I realized like, oh shit, here comes security. Like this kid's not supposed to be there. And then the screen starts to fade. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And then literally not even 2 minutes later, someone tweeted out like, the kid that was on stage was just yanked off by security and has been arrested. And I was like, okay, sigh of relief. But also, how the fuck did we get here? That needs to be fixed.
Yeah, that'll never happen again. Also, John in the chat, there is another game that I forgot to mention in our list. It's called Replaced. It's a game that we've seen a few times. It's like it has like a real retro looking vibe, and it looks really cool. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. I think we maybe got a date. I forget. But yeah, definitely Replaced is up there for me. Yeah, overall, I thought it was a good Game Awards. I like I said earlier, I had the benefit of being able to scrub through some bullshit, so I kind of just got the highlights. But I think there's a lot of cool shit here that was announced. And then came in. We do have one more thing to discuss on the show. Hogwarts Legacy. I think this is a game John's excited about. Hogwarts Legacy has been delayed again, but only the last gen versions to April 4th.
Switch version.
Well, so the last gen versions of PlayStation and Xbox are coming out April 4th, but the Switch version is coming out in June. John, if you're still excited for this game, or if I'm remembering correctly that you're excited, buckle up because this game is going to be a fucking mess.
This game is going to suck ass. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
You know what's funny about all of this, though? This game's going to suck ass. I'm still probably going to end up playing it. You're going to love it. And I'm going to love the shit out of it because it sucks. Like,
yeah. You're broken, Cameron.
I am.
You're a broken boy. John's buckled in. Good. You should be. Wingardium Leviosa or whatever the fuck. Whatever the fuck, John. All right. That's our show. Thanks for joining us. You can follow me on Twitter at Patrick Schwag. You can follow the pod on Twitter at SpotGamesPod. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and here on Twitch at Spotlight Games Pod, YouTube as well. Cayman, where can they follow you? Did I already say where they can follow you?
No, you just normally you say mine before you name off all the other stuff, and I was like, he's gonna forget this episode.
No, I will because I was gonna have you talk about STC, but then I was like, wait, did I say where you are? But
fair enough.
I just completely blacked out.
You can find me on Twitter at Kid Cayman, and STC you can find on all socials at Save Trash Cinema.
Fantastic, Cayman. I had a great time. We had a little bit of a long show. We haven't had other than our fucking 9-hour spoiler cast. Haven't had a bit of a longer discussion. So thanks. Also, by the way, kicking your ass in Fantasy Critic League. So just so you know.
Fine.
Get
kicking your ass in fantasy football.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's true. I almost didn't make it in the playoffs, but I squeaked by on a technicality of points for. I mean, it's the official tiebreaker, but all right. Until next week, Cayman. Stay blessed, stay not stressed, and take your shirt off.